I will bring your sanity to its knees. This is worse. This is worse than anything I could come up with. It touches your soul inappropriately without consent. I'm starting out with a meme, because this thing apparently is specifically made to be ugly, and I'm sure we can agree how and why. The stark contrast between this very smooth sort of dildo-looking handle and then the jagged guard that's really just kind of plastered on it that doesn't really seem to quite belong there. And then also just too many conflicting colors. Great example of proportions gone wild. You know, wilder than MILFs in your area, if you know what I mean. Oh, by the way, I should also point out, if one of the artists who made anything that I'm commenting on happened to watch this, don't feel insulted. Like, I'm gonna pluck things apart here. I'm gonna be pretty harsh at times. I mean, no offense to the artist, because you know, you also got to go by your artistic vision. If this is what you want to create and you think it's cool, then you know, I'm not gonna try to convince you otherwise. If you don't have a banana for scale or some other kind of scale reference, this makes you wonder, what size is this actually supposed to be? Because if this handle here actually fits a hand, then the whole thing is like this, maybe? If the blade is supposed to be large, then nobody can grip this handle. Another problem, which is it's overloaded. And specifically, what I mean is it's overloaded with shapes. If you think about Baroque art, for example, like you have lots of intricate decorations. The closer you get to the object and the more you look at it, the more you find, because it's got decorative touches everywhere, right? That's not what I mean. What I mean is it's got all these separate elements here. Like this whole thing looks plastered on top that you can't even really tell how it's connected structurally. This is a scabbard here, so we're not actually seeing the blade. The blade seems to start here. So don't treat this as a blade. But even so, like even if the scabbard is a little bit wider than the blade, this is still hella chunky, right? And then it's got, said, all these, like look at all these individual segments here. Like these are all extra shapes that are sticking out in a bunch of different directions. And this is just shape overload. This is like three-dimensional overload, if you know what I mean, as opposed to patterns are fine. Obviously, it's full of ornamentation. Like everything is meticulously decorated with the finest details, but it's not visually overloading because the shape overall is fairly simple. It doesn't have like a bunch of things. This has a few separate pieces, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's it. Like it's not like stacked layers upon layers of different objects that are kind of tacked on. So you can absolutely do intricate patterns and whatnot, just not a bunch of things that all stick out and, you know, conflict with each other. And by all means, feel free to disagree with me. If everything is strange, then you wouldn't notice as much, I think. Well, if everything was strange, then it wouldn't be. Like, because then you wouldn't have a concept of strange. Like you need certain expectations, you need to have established like a certain baseline of normalcy or averages or whatever, right? Even down to comparison to nature, you know, shapes and colors you have in nature. So everything can't be weird because then it wouldn't be. This is a little trickier because it doesn't really have shape overload, I would say, because it's got a few extra pieces, but it's not like full of it. It's not full of separate pieces that jut out in all kinds of directions. What design features exactly make it ugly? If I grab these wings here and turn them around, what does that do aesthetically? doesn't even look that bad now. Yeah, it's not amazing still, but it's better. What if we open this up a little bit more? I'd say better, but still not quite. Yeah, that's better, isn't it? Although, oddly enough, now I think it's too high up. With that way around, I think it should probably be here-ish. What do you think? I do not like these big-ass cutouts. Like, not just in terms of functionality, which would be garbage, but also just, it doesn't look right. Is it just me? I think it's better. Like, ignore the glitchiness of it all, because it's just a quick and dirty job, but I think it's good. Better, yeah. And yeah, I agree, the tip is still an issue. Let me give this a more gentle taper and let's see what happens. Yeah, there we go. Aha. We have a sword, folks, don't we? So if we grab this and now apply perspective transform, then we can actually taper the whole sucker, which also makes it a bit longer. Nah, it's good enough. For a quick and dirty job, good enough. Yeah, I think you're onto something there. It does look better now, doesn't it? We started out with this, and we have arrived at this. Definitely looks more like a sword now. That's for sure. It's still fantasy, but it's more like a sword and it's prettier. If I did this properly, I would spend a lot more time on it. I would fix this and make the seam not so... fix this, whatever. It's just... This is just as a very quick and dirty, just to get like a live impression. What do you folks think about this? I don't even want to lead with anything. I just want to know, what do you think about this? Nah. Nah, no, you. Holy shit, ugly. That's pretty much what I expected. So what's wrong with this? Proportions. Which is a shame, because I actually really like the textures that were used. Like particularly this crystal, or whatever it is, that looks really nice. First impulse is anything below the grip needs to be way slimmer. Wait, is this already fixed? Almost. It can still use a bit more work, and I think I know exactly what, namely, I don't like this, personally. I feel like the grip needs to be longer. It seems a little bit short to me. I mean, I still actually kind of like the hilt. The texture on it. I mean, the guard, I should say. Not the whole thing. I do actually kind of like it overall. It's just, I might actually do it. I mean, it looks pasted on now because it is, literally, the way I did it. What if I make it so that these points here meet? It doesn't quite work the way I want, but... Ah. Oh, look what we got here. That works. I'm quite happy with that, actually. Original, chunker, redesign. Which you prefer? And why? I mean, we've already talked about it basically. It's the proportions were off. This is something I don't like. You know, this sharp corner here, that would feel not so nice. So I feel like we need to do something about that. Don't fail me now. Content aware. Whoa. Where did that come from? That's kind of cool though. I don't know where on earth Photoshop gets this, but that's kind of cool. I like it. Accidental creation, that's kind of neat. I can live with that. That ain't terrible. Yeah, so I don't like it. But do I have good reasons for not liking it? Like, is there anything wrong with it? Like, objectively, quote unquote, as objective as you can be about this. I'm not sure. I mean, round handle, hate that. Hate that. Functionality reasons and also aesthetically. I do think it has some shape overload going on here. Now, are these supposed to be functional? I haven't played Devil May Cry and I'm not really deeply familiar with the lore. Exhausted Spitfire, okay. Yeah. Not a fan, shape-wise. Personally, I would strip all this. I get it, it's gotta function. But I mean, let's face it, the thing's magic anyway, right? Because there is no practical way to shoot fire out of this. Like, it's not, you don't have a fuel tank or anything. There's just nothing of sufficient size that would allow you to do that. So it's magic anyway. So it could shoot fire out of whatever. Like, if there's magic involved, you can literally shoot fire out of your ass. It doesn't matter. I feel like things get a bit of a pass when they're supposed to be organic. Because, like, you know, bones sticking out and whatever, it's like, okay, that's... And also the thing is, it's symmetrical. I think this gets away with it. This is not actually shape overload. You've got the row of bones. I mean, they're not perfectly symmetrical because organic things aren't perfectly. But it's even because, like, you have the larger ones here and then they kind of get gradually smaller. So I think that's actually okay overall. I hate the grip because it's way too skinny. Like, that's a proportion issue here. The grip is way too skinny for the rest of it, but overall, it's not even that bad. It's hideous, but it's not hideous for objective aesthetic reasons, but more like it's supposed to be kind of gross looking, right? It's not a design flaw. It just looks nasty because it looks like a carcass fused with a sword, you know? So there's that. Yeah, the Troll Knight sword is one that I personally quite like. The size and thickness make it not the most practical thing in the world, but just in terms of aesthetics, I can dig what they did there. Because you've got some decorations, but like not over the top. And this is what I mean here again, like you have intricate patterns here for the decorations, but they're just inlaid into the surfaces, not a bunch of extra pieces that stack on top of one another. The guard is too thick. It's way too thick. That's the one flaw that it has, but otherwise, it's good. I like how it has like a nice gradual profile taper, and you know, the proportions overall are good. Like, it's long, but it's not super oversized. It's not excessively thick or anything. You know, the guard is fancy, but tasteful, I guess, is a term. Not completely over the top. It's well proportioned, and the decorations are done nicely. The crystal sword is also a good example of, I mean, obviously fantasy. Like, it's not a material that we have available. Like, it's kind of pushing it, and it's playful with its shape overall, but there's nothing that makes it like repulsive, right? My one issue with this aesthetically is these things. Either they need to be larger or they just need to be gone because it's just distracting. So I actually prefer it this way, personally. Big brain, yes, big brain indeed. We're doing smart things, guys. Sucker would break right here. Especially there, but also here. But hey, whatever. Aesthetically, nice. Oh yeah, it will also break here. But, yeah, what can you do? And this is a good example of how to design a fancy sword well. I mean, I would personally... Functionally, I would want to open the guard up. Aesthetically, though, I like it. The proportions are great. Like, I mean, for a two-handed sword, it's got a short blade, but still, proportion-wise, it works overall. Nothing overstays its welcome. There's not a bunch of layered crap going on that just stacks endlessly. Everything is just kind of going in one direction. Like there's not, elements that contradict each other, things like that. Feast your eyes upon whatever this is. It's from FF13. Yeah, of course it is. It's cursed too, yes. It's supposed to split in two, yeah, I'm sure. The first time you swing at anything, if you even can, I don't even know where you're supposed to hold this, but the first time you swing at anything, this entire thing here is going to shatter. I no longer have eyes. That thing melted them. Yes. So I think this is a great example of how to not design an aesthetically pleasing weapon. All of this, basically, like literally all of it. It has messed up proportions where the blades are way too large for this skinny crap in the center, which I'm assuming is the handle, maybe. So proportions are completely off. It's got shape overload. It's got all these weird things sticking out everywhere in seemingly random ways. It's just confusing to the brain. At least it didn't commit the sin of combining incompatible colors, because it's sticking to black and yellow, which does work together. Like, that's the only other thing that could have been done even worse. How do we colorize that shit? Whee! Actually, no, I want something crazier. Oh, there we go. Oh, I fixed it. This is proper hideousness. Like, now it does everything wrong that you could possibly want. You know what? It's still not enough. Whee! Oh, wait. I made a mistake. This is too symmetrical. No. We can't have that. It needs to be more random. That makes it uglier. Because symmetry, no. Nobody wants that. We want, oh yeah, better. Don't make them, make them grow out of the sides instead of the center. Oh, yes, there. I will bring your sanity to its knees. It's not bad enough. Yes, now it's bad. There. And there. And, voila. In fact, we can do some more here. Have I just violated the Geneva Convention? Some kind of human rights violation I think I've committed. Okay, let's just get rid of this. This is, you're gonna have nightmares and I'm responsible. And then, okay, you know what? With all the effort I just put into creating the ultimate visual obscenity, like this is worse. This is worse than anything I could come up with. Like, this is... It touches your soul inappropriately without consent. I can't even look at this anymore. Please never again suggest something this hideous to me. I think you've just cost me like a couple years of my life expectancy with that. This makes Soul Edge look like prom queen. So hope you had fun with this idea. Let me know if you want to see more of that. Have a good one.